So, everyone's heard of Disney, right? Mickey Mouse, the princesses, Star Wars, Marvel. Well, my family is big on Disney. We got movies, we got dolls, we got costumes, we've been to Disneyland several times. And as such, I'd say the majority of my childhood was a pretty magical one. So, here are my top 5 most magical Mouseketeer memories. I haven't actually been to Disney World yet. What? I know, I'm the worst. So whenever I talk about lands or rides, I am referring to the one in California. Number 5, the Mermaid Lagoon. So at one of the Disney hotels, the ones closest to the park, there's a pool that was decorated with a crocodile and beautiful flowers and piratey treasures. I don't know if it still is, this was years ago, but I have a distinct memory of thrashing through the pool, splashing water all over the patrons sunbathing, and feeling like the most graceful mermaid. This is a thought, by the way, that I carried through high school on the women's swim team. Maybe that's what kickstarted my love for swimming. That and the years of swim lessons my grandma gave me. In any case, there was this pool. And I remember coming out of the pool, getting dried off, getting ready for bed, and then looking out over the pool from the balcony of our hotel room. Y'all, it was gorgeous. There were multicolored lights all around the pool and fauna to rival Pixie Hollow. Shout out to Pixie Hollow, by the way. I would argue that their decor is some of the most immersive in all of Disneyland. And as a kid, I loved meeting the fairies, especially Silver Mist. I was Team Water Fairy, which takes me to number 4, New Princess on the Block. As a child, meeting the princesses is one of the most magical things available to you at Disney. When I was little, they had their own areas of Fantasyland, and you could hunt them down as they adventured through the park. Now I think they have a Princess Pagoda. Well, one day, little Malia was wandering through Fantasyland and bumped into Alice, the Mad Hatter, and the White Rabbit. I should mention that Alice in Wonderland is my all-time favorite franchise. All the movies and the original novel, and all the merch and the general idea, I'm obsessed. And I'm wearing this tiara, so as I walk up, the whole group bows and says, "Hello, Your Majesty." I curtsy back in my jeans, not wanting to be rude, and the Mad Hatter asks me, "What are you the princess of?" To which I respond with my hometown, Tacoma. And that's it. That's how I became the sole monarch of Seattle's sister city, supreme ruler. Alice bowed to me, which means I am a bona fide princess. Where's my chameleon? Number 3. You ain't never had a fan like me. If you've been to any of the Disney parks, you've seen the street performers that pop up out of nowhere every couple of hours and capture a crowd. Well, when I was 8, I became a performer myself. In California Adventure, there's a building that is now known as Elsa's Meet and Greet. Years ago, back when I was a child, it was the art of Disney animation. There were character models, sketches, paintings, one of those round things you could spin that made the pictures move. And it was probably one of the driving experiences that made me want to be an animator. I'll miss you, animation exhibit. So on one of our trips, my family was walking by this building when we saw a crowd starting to form around 3 performers. Naturally, my parents pulled my brother and me to the front of the audience. The performers turned out to be official Disney artists, each drawing a Disney character. I think one of them drew Ariel, one maybe had Baloo, but my artist, he was drawing Mickey Mouse. Of course, they were singing as they drew and dancing around with their easels every now and then. Then, adrenaline struck the crowd. They were picking volunteers! I think my Tinkerbell wings stuck out because Mouse Man pulled me up for a duet. I remember him explaining the rules to me, how it was supposed to work, and then introducing me to the crowd. We were going to sing "You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me" from Aladdin. Now, in a perfect world, I would like to say that I was ready to go, hopping with excitement and doing jazz hands. But no. I was embarrassed for being singled out and had my hands shoved in the pockets of my hoodie the entire time. Mouse Man cued the music, and then he started dancing. "Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? Let me take your order, jot it down." And then he handed me the mic. "You ain't never had a friend like me." Guys, I was a beat off. A whole beat. And I slurred that phrase so badly you could barely tell what I said. I was so flustered, my face blushing bright red, and went back to my parents. Luckily, Mouseman was super supportive and yelled, "Let's give it up for Malia!" drawing applause from the audience. After their performance, he called me over and handed me, you guessed it, the Mickey Mouse drawing, signed and everything. I was so excited. A few years later, I was sitting at home watching the Disney Channel, and who should appear as a supporting character on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody but Mouseman. Unfortunately, I think my baby brother wrecked the drawing when we were little, and we might have thrown it away. But we have video evidence. Number 2. Fireworks. One of the most classic attractions at Disneyland is the fireworks show at the end of the night, where everyone gathers as close to the center castle as they can to watch the projections, Tinkerbell flying around the turrets, and the massive, beautiful fireworks display overhead, all to the soothing voice of Julie Andrews, the OG Mary Poppins, for those of you who don't know. To say that we got a little teary at the show every night would be an understatement. Full waterworks, people, and I think that's what makes it so magical for me. The recording of Walt Disney welcoming us to the park, Julie Andrews summarizing the purpose and vision and magic of Disney, and the gorgeous colors all around you, not to mention the smell of kettle corn. Everything is perfect. So perfect, in fact, that when I was 4, my parents were leaving the park post-fireworks on our way to the hotel. I was half asleep, but excited to be there. I remember my mom turning to me with tears in her eyes and saying, "I just love Disneyland so much. I wish we could live here forever." And me, being the child I was, turned to her and said, "Mom, it's called Disneyland, not Disney Home." Now, before we get to number 1, I was going to throw in an honorable mention bit, but I realized I have a lot of good memories at Disneyland. And from these memories, my family has a lot of inside jokes. Most making fun of my brother.
What was that?
Nothing. So, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you'd like to get in on the Magical Family secret jokes. Number 1. Old friends. If you've been to Disneyland a couple times, or really did the research and went once, you know about the Plaza Inn with Minnie and Friends. This adorable restaurant is perfect for breakfast and brunch, even though it serves all hours of the day. Occasionally, the restaurant fills with cast members including Captain Hook, the Fairy Godmother, and Chip and Dale, as well as a ton of others. This place is so comfy and fun, and holds a lot of special memories in our family. The reason it holds the top spot in my most magical memories, however, is because of one specific cast member. When I was 16, we went to Disneyland over winter break, and it rained for the majority of the vacation. One morning, we were drenched in rain, super hungry, my siblings had been arguing, probably over how to wear their ponchos or something, and I was not feeling the magic. I don't mean this to complain, like we're still in Disneyland, I just wasn't in a great mood. So we go to Minnie's Cafe. Even after a couple characters had already come over, I was still feeling irritated. It wasn't until Winnie the Pooh walked up, Pooh Bear with his big, fluffy, huggable self, and gave me a prolonged hug, that I had a flashback to all of the Winnie the Pooh decor in my childhood bedroom and the stuffed Pooh Bear I used to own, that I broke down. So there I am, teary-eyed, in the middle of a restaurant, my face buried in Winnie the Pooh's shoulder, and I realized that you never really grow up at Disneyland. So there you go, my top 5 most magical memories at Disneyland. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Aloha nui loa!